My name is Ellie Johnson. I'm the manager of school readiness at Good Reason Houston. Since we are a new organization, I'm going to spend a little bit of my time telling you about Good Reason Houston before I dive into our pre-K specific work. So this is painting a picture of Harris County, Harris County's education system. I think Aaron got the precise number that there's 893,000 children that call Harris County home. Many of those students are low income, many don't speak English as their primary language, and many are students of color. And unfortunately right now our system is not preparing all of those students for an opportunity-filled future. So what we see is that only 1 in 5 of students in Harris County will earn a post-secondary degree, and that number is even worse for students who come from low-income households. 720,000 students aren't going to be prepared for the workforce of tomorrow, and that's unacceptable. I think everyone sitting in this room would know that that's unacceptable. And so that's why Good Reason Houston was founded, to be a champion of a bold, optimistic vision of education for our region. We hope to accelerate change by working in partnership with districts and school district leaders, for those district leaders to make bold decisions to change the outcomes of students in our region. Like many education organizations in the city, our vision is that every child in every neighborhood excels in a world-class public school and thrives in the Houston of tomorrow. But unfortunately, as it stands currently, there's not enough high-quality schools for all students in Houston to attend one. So our mission is simple. It's to increase the number of high-quality schools in Houston. As you know, Harris County is a very large place, and so we have narrowed our scope to be what we're calling Houston's urban core, which includes 9 school districts, KIPP and YES, 2 charter organizations, and 33 standalone charters. These districts have over 70% of their students who are low income, and they are in Harris County. Those districts include 510,000 students, and of those 510,000 students, 300,000 are currently attending a C, D, or F school. Our goal by 2025 is to increase the number of students learning in A and B schools by 60,000. This would be a 30% increase in the number of students learning in an A or B school. So how will we do this? How will we make this transformation happen? The answer is not simple, and so the approach can't be simple either. We see our work falling into 4 main categories. First, we need to listen to parents and families to design solutions that meet families' needs. Drive system innovation by working in partnership with district leaders to improve existing schools and to help design new schools that can provide seats in A and B schools. Developing game-changing educators, teachers, and school leaders are critically important to student outcomes, and so we are going to work to increase teacher pipelines in the city, and also increase the amount of teacher training, school leader training that's available. And this last component, advanced equitable access, is what I'm going to be spending the rest of my time talking about today, as it relates to pre-K, but advancing equitable access actually plays into the work from pre-K through college. So we know that great schools begin with high quality early learning. Aaron set me up really well by explaining all of the reasons why pre-K is critically important. I think Aaron already did this for me too. The one thing that you'll probably hear about later as well is that we just had some really exciting legislation passed with House Bill 3. So now all school districts will be given additional funding to offer a full day pre-K program for eligible 4-year-olds. And again, to be eligible for pre-K, most students qualify based on being economically disadvantaged or not speaking English as their primary language at home. With this current legislative session, they also added that educators' children could qualify for free public pre-K. So that's one additional criteria. Okay, so there's a lot of data here on this slide, but really I want to emphasize the point that Erin already made, which is that pre-K for eligible students makes a big difference in the skills that they have when they enter kindergarten. These represent our urban core districts, and the trend is the same across all districts, that students who attend pre-K are more likely to be ready for kindergarten than those who do not. And this is just for eligible students. To Frost's question earlier, we still see that number on average is less than 50%, which is not acceptable, but it is showing a positive trend when a child attends pre-K. So knowing that pre-K is important, then the question is around how many students are accessing a pre-K program. Again, on the right of the slide, we see that 83% of eligible students in Harris County are accessing a free public program. There are other forms of pre-K, as was already mentioned, and we have taken a look at some of those numbers as well, including Head Start programs, which offers pre-K, private pre-K centers, which we know some of these students are attending, but there are certainly still students that need access to a pre-K program. So we estimate that there's about 6,800 students in Houston's urban core that are eligible for a free pre-K program, but are not currently accessing one. So as an organization, our strategic aims for our school readiness initiatives are first to increase the number of students who are accessing a free public pre-K program, and second, to work in partnership with districts to improve the quality of their pre-K programs. So again, to anchor you in this number, there's 6,800 students who are eligible for free public pre-K but are not accessing it. And so in order to address that number, we launched a pre-K enrollment campaign this last year that had three main components: to align districts around a common enrollment timeline, to provide parent-friendly resources so that families could find pre-K programs near them and know if they're eligible, and to increase messaging around why pre-K is important and how to access it. So we worked with these 25 school districts to align them around a common enrollment period. So in the past, pre-K enrollment has happened from early spring to late summer. There's been no common time where families know that this is the time to enroll my child in pre-K. So we worked with these districts, for all these districts, to hold enrollment on one common week, which was April 29th to May 3rd this past year. We created prekhouston.org, which included the information for all of these districts. All their pre-K programs could be found on this website. Families could go on, type in their address, find pre-Ks near them, and then take a short eligibility quiz to know if they can access a free public program. And then we had a marketing campaign to increase messaging. Some of you may have seen we were excited to partner with HEB. They were really generous and donated some of their marketing team time to help us do a PSA with George Springer and Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros to highlight pre-K enrollment week. And so we are still in the process of collecting data for the marketing campaign. We really won't know until the first day of school in terms of did this make a dent in how many students enrolled in pre-K, but we've gotten lots of positive feedback from districts around the number of families they saw coming to enroll. And real quick, this is really the work that we're right now in the throes of developing to increase the quality of pre-K programs. So we know that it's important for students to access the program, and then once they're there, we want them to have a really high quality experience. And so we're working with districts to both resource and support them in these certain areas. This is a preliminary list, but to give you an example of one, some of our districts don't currently have an early learning director, and so helping districts to to find an early learning director to really set a strategic vision for early learning in their district, to bring in evidence-based practices to the classroom, to really have an intentional early childhood education program at their school.